Hey, what's going on guys? Quamii here. Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for checking out this video. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the Cycle Frontier. Now some of you may have already heard about this game, which is good. I've decided to take up this game and I've been playing it for a bit now and I wanted to discuss a few things with you. I wanted to go over some of the pros and cons of this game if you are deciding whether or not you should start the Cycle Frontier. And I want to talk about the good and the bad, of course, but just some things that you should definitely you need to know and that you need to consider before you decide to get into this game. So if you're like me and you've been playing some other games for a while now and you're kind of sick of it and you got bored and you wanted to try a different FPS sort of game where it's definitely PvP related but also PvE with like quests and that sort of thing, similar to Escape from Tarkov, then the Cycle Frontier is definitely a good choice to consider to giving it a go and to really get into the game. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, guys. Much appreciated. Cheers for the support. Feel free to swing by the live stream and say hello sometime. I stream 6 days a week, Monday through to Saturday at twitch.tv/Quamii. All other details will be in the description box down below. Now we got all that stuff out of the way, guys. Let's get into the video. Alright, so the first two tips is the most important thing about this game, and it's my favorite part of the Cycle Frontier. So number one is that the game is free. Can you believe that? The game is actually free, which is awesome. So you don't have to worry about nothing about obviously payment and buying a game and then you regret it and you hate it and then you want your money back, sort of a thing. And in my honest opinion, for a free game, this is really, really good. The game definitely needs work, but we'll get to that, okay? But for the most part, it's a really, really good game for a free game, and there's plenty to do with heaps of PvPing and questing, and it's a lot more simpler to understand, unlike a lot of other games out there. So number two, and this one is 100% without a doubt my favorite part of the game, is that it's very, very fast loading times. So if you've ever played a game like Hunt Showdown, for some of you, or even PUBG, or Escape from Tarkov, there's a bit of a matchmaking process and it takes a while before you actually get into the raid or the game. So there's actually none of that. It's very, very small. You probably have to wait like, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or something. Compared to other games, that's nothing, okay? So even Hunt Showdown, you gotta wait a couple minutes sometimes. PUBG, you gotta wait till everyone's in the lobby, and then it finally counts down, and then you finally get into the game. And especially Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is notorious for really, really long matching times. And I personally hate it. It is so annoying. I should not have to sit there and wait 10 minutes just to get into a game, and then I finally spawn in and I take a few steps and someone just shoots me from the other side of the map, instantly headshotting me. It's just like, what the hell, man? Come on, right? So the way that they've done it in the Cycle Frontier is they've made it so once you click deploy, you probably wait like 5 to 10 seconds and then boom, you're in the game just like that. It is awesome. I love not having to wait and beat around the bush and that sort of thing. It's one of the best features in the game, hands down, without a doubt. So moving on to number three. And number three is that it's very quick to get started. The tutorial, which is what I was doing in the background there, it's actually very, very quick. I'm already done with the tutorial just like that. It probably took like 2 minutes to get through, which is great. No one would like to go through a really long tutorial and it takes forever and you can't even get into the bloody game. You know what I mean? So it took like 2 minutes, bada bim, bada boom, it's done. Now I can get into the raids and start exploring the maps and start actually playing the game, which is great. Number four we're going to discuss now, and that's the pay to win. Now, people have heard that this game is pay to win and that's what's put people off. I'm telling you right now, straight up, that is false. There is no pay to win in the Cycle Frontier. It has some bonus gear from the season pass that you can pay for, but that's pretty much it. And the gear that you get from the season pass, it's nothing crazy. Like, it's not even worth talking about. That's how like insignificant it is. So don't even worry about it. So that whole thing about paying to win is BS. It's false. So don't believe it. There is no pay to win in the Cycle Frontier. Okay? So, moving on to number five, and I'm going to be giving you a friendly suggestion. My suggestion to you guys is to sell the pistols and the SMGs. Why is that? It's because light ammo, which is the ammunition that is used for pistols and SMGs, it sucks. It's very, very weak and more or less irrelevant. It does so very little damage, especially to the AI in the game. And if it doesn't do anything to the AI, what makes you think you're going to kill a fully geared player with light ammo? You're just not, okay? They would have to be wearing very, very weak gear, and that's the only time, more or less, it'll work. You can make the SMGs and such a bit better with attachments, but you're not going to get that stuff until later. So at the very beginning, my suggestion would be to get rid of the pistols and even the SMGs. Moving on to number 6, and this one's pretty straightforward, as you probably have seen in the footage in front of you. Yes, there is full damage. Be wary of full damage. It doesn't take much for you to lose HP when you drop, so you never know. You might think you're about to be able to make a simple drop, and next thing you know, you're dead. Trust me, it's happened to me a lot, and it's kind of embarrassing, so be wary of that, guys. Alright, number 7. So speaking of selling the pistols and the SMGs, I'm going to give you some starter weapons for recommendations for new players who are just starting out. I would recommend the gun that I'm using right here, which is the trench gun, which is the shotgun. This is actually quite powerful. It's okay against AI, but against the players, because it's a shotgun, you get close, you hit them, you only need to hit them a couple of times, and then chances are they're dead. I do use this every now and again, but there are better shotguns later. But for the starting items and your starting stash, the trench gun does go a long way. So I would definitely stick to that. And also the AR-55, which is the assault rifle from the AR that you start off with, that's actually fairly decent. Some people are against using this gun, but I think it's okay. It's not bad for medium ammo, and you can get the job done with this gun. So I don't mind that weapon, the AR-55. But the best gun, honestly, is the sniper rifle, which is the C32, and you can get that just from the starting stash, but also just buying from the quick shop at the start. It's pretty much just 2 shots people, because it's so powerful and it uses heavy ammo. It hits really hard, so that one will definitely go a long way, and people are still using it now, even later on in the game. So it's very, very reliable. So those 3 weapons I definitely recommend. So that's the shotgun, which is the trench gun, the AR-55, which is the assault rifle, and the C32, which is the sniper rifle. Use those, they're good. Okay, number 8. And this is some more friendly advice. I would recommend not only doing your quests, but also to remember to upgrade your player quarters or your hideout. Now, this does a lot of things for you by upgrading the hideout or the player quarters. It benefits you because it will give you more money, and it will give you a bigger stash size for when you bring in items from your raid. You can actually put them in your stash. It increases your stash size, and some other benefits to go with it. So it's very, very important that you upgrade the player quarters. Definitely do not neglect your player quarters. Number 9. Progression overall in this game is actually quite easy. Now this is good to know, because it means that you don't have to go through heaps of hoops and leaps and bounds and all sort of stuff just to get your quests done. They're actually quite simple and straightforward, and even if you're starting the game late, they're not too difficult to get around to actually completing. So I think this is a really good idea, and by allowing the players to continuously complete quest after quest, it helps, it makes you feel like you're actually doing something and that you're progressing well, and to keep going forward with the game and to keep playing. So that's good. Next is the squads. Now the squads that you can run into, they can only be up to 3 players. You can queue up with 2 of your friends, making a team of 3, but that's it. So this is good overall. I think it's bad if a game like this, where it's very difficult to solo, and I'll be talking about solo in a little bit, where there's heaps of groups and there's too many people to fight against, and it'll just make things way too haywire, and I think it's completely unnecessary. Okay, moving on to number 11. Number 11 is we're going to be talking about your gear, and that the gear that you wear does matter. So there's different tier levels of your gear. There's the white, which is like common, green, which is uncommon, which is better, and then there's blue, which is rare, and that's even better and stronger armor. And then after blue, it's epic, and then it's exotic, and then it's legendary. And you rarely see players using those 3 gear in particular. I think I've seen like 2 people use above blue armor, and that was like epic, and that was it. So the better tier armor that you're wearing, the better chances you have of surviving, obviously. So if you're fighting against someone, let's say you're using epic gear, which is like the pink or the purpley one, and you're fighting against a player who has a grey gun, so the common weapon, that guy's going to take forever to kill you because you're wearing really high-end gear. So he's going to have to waste like 5 magazines on you just to kill you. That player's going to take forever to kill you. So there's a huge difference in how good the common gear is, which is the white, compared to the epic. So just from that, you should be able to understand why it's always better to use the better gear and how important it is to your survival that using the better gear compared to the low end sort of gear. So if you run into a squad that's running like epic gear, there's 3 of them and there's just you, it's very difficult to win this fight. Like, chances are you're not. Okay, you're just going to get dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't like this about Cycle Frontier. That is one of the things that kind of puts me off just a little bit, is the fact that if you're up against a squad and they got really good gear and you are alone, you're kind of just screwed. Which brings us on to our next topic, and this is a big one for me. It's soloing. We're going to talk about playing solo in this game and how difficult it is. Oh my god. So, when you're soloing in this game, it makes things so much more difficult than it has to be, because you don't have a teammate watching your back and helping you and guarding you through your quest and through the terrain in the map. So when you're fighting against a squad and you're playing solo, man, there's just too many people just shooting at you. Okay, especially with the weak gear. Trust me, from my personal experience, it sucks. It's really tough playing solo. Now, if you go up against a squad who are geared and they know what they're doing, you're just fucked. Like, they'll just surround you, they'll push you, they'll hit you too much, and you'll be too low to actually do anything about it, and they'll just run you over and you just get dead. And that's kind of just how it is. I don't like this as well. I am primarily a solo player. I played Tarkov solo for like 95% of my playthrough, and I've been playing Tarkov since 2017. So, it's very different. In my opinion, it's much easier to solo in Tarkov than it is in this game, simply because of how damage calculation works, and you can't just one-shot someone in the head to kill them and get away with it like you could in Escape from Tarkov, or even Hunt Showdown. You could be on low HP and you get into a fight against a 2-man or a 3-man, and you can just shoot them in the head if your aim is that good, and you can just win the fight. Like, no questions asked. But it's not like that in the Cycle Frontier. You have to do enough damage to actually put someone down, because headshots, they do matter, of course, but you can't one-shot them, which is, I think, that takes away a bit of playability from the players, and it makes it much more difficult for people to be on their own. So soloing against a 3-man squad, for example, is next to impossible. It's really tough, and if you happen to beat a squad, then good on you, but chances are they just played it shit. But all in all, if you run into a 3-man squad who are geared, chances are you're just going to get dead, and that's just how the game is. And I hope they do a change and fix something about that to make it a bit more easier and playable as a solo player, but I really doubt they will, and that's just the game, unfortunately, as it is. Okay, moving on to number 13. Most fights are a DPS battle. Now, basically, what that means, DPS is damage per second. So you need to do enough damage to someone to kill them. Makes sense, right? So it's basically who can do the most damage quickly and faster than the other person in order to get the kill. That's kind of how the game is, because you can't really get one-shot headshots, like I said before, like you could in Hunt Showdown, even in PUBG, Escape from Tarkov, etc. There is none of that in this game, so it's just a pure DPS battle. Who can shoot who the fastest, with who's got the most damage, and who can hit them the most, and that's what wins fights. I don't really like this. I do feel like there should be more merit to shooting someone in the face, but that's just my opinion, and that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Okay, number 14, map terrain. The map needs work, man. Like, there's just so many times where it's impossible to vault over something. You can't jump over things. A lot of pathways just lead to random dead ends, and it just, like, obviously it leads to nothing. It's just like, I feel like that needs to be fixed, and the pathing and the way that it should be better than what it is. But who knows, maybe in the future they'll tweak it some more and make it a little bit better than that. And there's a lot of times when you just randomly get stuck in between like 2 rocks, and I'm like, that shouldn't happen, like, come on. And sometimes it even takes forever to get yourself out of there, and like, it's just, that's a huge pain, like, come on, man. Okay, so this is number 15. It's the final point I'm going to give you, and I'm going to be talking about a main issue, I'll say, and that is the audio. The audio does need work. There's just times when it's just very, very strange. So there'll be times when you'll just be sitting there and you'll stumble upon these little rocks on the ground. And the audio for the rocks, even though it's at your feet, it's like it's not centered or something. And it's like it's all around you. It's really, really weird. And you get confused and you're like, where is that coming from? And you're like, oh, I'm stepping on rocks. That's the rock sound that I'm hearing right now. And it's the same with like bushes as well. You're like, what the hell is that? And also, you get the audio mixed up between the footsteps of one of the monsters or the creatures and the footsteps of a player. They sound quite similar. And a lot of the time you have to really stop and listen in for quite a while before you realize, oh, that's one of the that's a strider or a rattler, one of the monsters. That's not a player running around. And it's just there should be a clear definition between the two types of footsteps, in my opinion. And it's just stuff like that where it just tells me that the audio definitely needs work. But the main thing that really irks me about it is like with the rocks, when you're standing on the rocks or the bush, you'll constantly hear this annoying bush sound when you're standing completely still, but you're hearing the sound constantly because you're standing in the bush. Stuff like that could get you killed, and it can be quite annoying. So the audio does need work. So be on the lookout for that. Alright guys, that's it. That's what you need to know before going into the game. I hope that you found this video helpful and useful, and hopefully it cleared up a few things of what you expected to experience when you jump into the game. But all in all, this is a great game. I'm really loving it at the moment, and I'm going to continue to play it and create content for this game because I feel like it's got a lot of potential. And that's the be on and end all is that I feel like this game has great potential, and I want to see how far this game can go. So if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell and all that jazz, guys. Much appreciated, and thank you so much for the support. Feel free to swing by the live stream and say hello sometime. I stream 6 days a week, Monday through to Saturday at twitch.tv/Quamii. All other details will be in the description box down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned something, hope you found it useful, and remember to keep practicing, keep improving, hang in there, stay Quam, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.